Hey, hey, hey! Today is the day. I am finally going to talk about the Adapt Superleggera WZRD boot. That is what this is called. Is it the craziest skate in wizard skating? I think so. Is it the best skate in wizard skating? I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. So, this skate is composed of these pieces. And I think it'd be cool to share and show what it's all about. So this is the Adapt shell. This is a feather. This is the left boot. I just disassembled it to show. It's an absolute featherweight. It's insane. It's super rigid. It really doesn't want to flex in any direction. And I think that's really cool for responsiveness, for precision, and for performance in terms of speed and power and all that kind of stuff. I will say though, if this doesn't perfectly fit you, it can be painful. So the reason I bought these skates is that they're very wide in the toe box, and I could request basically a custom sort of shaping, as far as I understand, for the width there. In my experience, I've had a lot of pain along the inner ankle bone and have heated the shell and pushed this out. I've heated the liner and pushed that out. I still experience pain, so I'm not really sure what it is and how I'm going to resolve it. But one of the other ways that I tried to improve that was to get a custom insole made for $300, which is gnarly, but it has really high arch, which is like, I guess, what I need. And when you have a low arch, it's possible for your ankle bone to roll in and press on the carbon. So I thought if I have a high arch, maybe it'll prevent that. It helped a lot. But let's go through the components of the Adapt skate. So you've got your frame from whatever, UFS. And then the next step is you have this plate. This is the, say, WZRD plate, size 43. And what this does is pops on the bottom and distributes the mounting load of the frame across a wider surface, or not being directly on the carbon apparently helps. I could imagine if you had a frame directly mounted to this, it could eventually crack the carbon or something like that. So I don't know, this seems to help. It's apparently not for grinding, but unfortunately on this one, even though I did like one Machio one time, recently I was doing some wall rides, I must have caught it on something. You can see that I chunked off a big piece, so I'm gonna have to order another one of those. So yeah, this goes on the bottom, and then your receiving plates are mounted to this footbed, which is a very dense foam with a little heel riser on the back of it that's about 10 millimeters long. You can see that there's these 3-piece mounts, I think 6 mounts he called this. Interestingly, the UFS is the center one, that one protrudes more, and then the 2 on the sides protrude less. And my theory is that eventually there might be a flat mount 4-point frame or something to this effect. Maybe this is future proof, but this is really nice. They're set into the foam. You don't feel them from above. There's a bit of tape here, and then on the heel you've got the heel pad, so that covers it. This goes inside, and then your frame, when you are mounting it, goes to these. These line up perfectly like that. So that's how that part works, and you've got the plate, and you've kind of got this sandwich going. So that's like most of the hardware of the skate. Then we get into the soft parts, and this is a surprise to most people. This is the Adapt liner. It's bottomless. So minimalism, I think, is interesting when it comes to thinking about a skate like this that only has like 4 parts. I don't need padding beneath my foot, really. There's a little bit of padding on that footboard or footbed, what have you. But this is kind of interesting because this is just a top shell. And you can see it's got like this nice quality leather on the tongue, which is pretty well broken in now by me. And then on the inside, it's this mesh. I don't know if this is possible to see, but it's like an air mesh. One really cool thing, for me at least, about the Adapts is you don't have to use a boot dryer on them. Since Intuition liners really hold a lot of moisture, and that turns into smell over time, these don't. They really air out pretty nicely, and I haven't Honestly, it smelled a little bit, but not too bad. Some of the things I noticed about the liner are that since this front toe is not affixed to anything, it kind of tends to like ride up, and my toes can kind of feel the edge of it. So not sure what that's all about. Additionally, the eyelets on the inside were all really sharp. So as I was like trying to get these to fit, swapping out insoles and stuff, like I was cutting my hands up. So I took a little rat tail file and smoothed all those out on both sides. That was just a thing that I had to do. And then I've noticed that so on the outside ankle bone, still really nice thick padding here. There's a really nicely apportioned protrusion for the outer ankle bone. But on the inner ankle bone, it was actually almost perfectly smooth here. There's a little bit of a protrusion, and I've tried to enhance that a little bit. But as you can see, there's a lot of wear that's occurred. This is actually it's a bit broken here, just from use, and it's completely thin. Like at some point I'll be able to see through this, but there's no more padding left where my inner ankle bone is, meaning I am rubbing on that thing all the time. And there's probably a solution. I have not found it yet with the arch support and moving out the shell and all this sort of stuff, but I'm gonna try to work with the owner of Adapt to figure out a way to resolve that pain, because it does stop me from skating these as long as I'd like to. Other interesting thing is that there's a bit of hook Velcro on here, and on the inside, this is loop Velcro, and on the inside there's some hook Velcro. So that's what kind of holds the heel of the liner into the shell. And I guess, it pops in pretty easily. You can see it's got like a kind of a hinge point, let's say, like right along here. And the tongue, it is stiff, but it's also like a gel feeling. So it's like firm, but it definitely doesn't prevent you from flexing forward in a way that the Intuition does. So if I throw this in here, it's kind of cool. It just sort of pops in there. And you tuck the tongue in there, and then you're ready to throw laces on. There's not a ton of lace holes, which is cool. Like, you don't need that many, I don't think, especially across the bottom part, but you really do feel the laces, excuse me, since the eyelets are so wide and far apart, the laces are actually pushing down on your foot, and it is a nice feeling. I would say that I've had to experiment a lot with lacing, and the way I do it is I have these all laced up. As you can see here, I don't have the top eyelets laced. Sorry for flipping you off. What I do instead is I lace the bottom, and I wrap around the ankle to just lock in this pressure. And then I loosely lace the upper part to try to not have too much pressure on my ankle and not try to pull this in too much. It's delicate though. If I pull too loose, I flop around, my ankle hits. If I pull too tight, I have a lot of pressure. So that's how I kind of do the lacing. And then the final piece of the Adapt is this strap. You can see that there's some wear on the strap here, and that's because it glides through this slot here. And then I'll just demonstrate this. It goes in through here and around the back. Let's see if I can pull this through. And this forms the carry strap as well. And what I found, it's not gonna work. It's just hard to do well on camera. What I found is that if you want to carry it with the little carry strap, you do have to have it strapped. Otherwise, the strap just slides out of the skate. Oh, I have one right here. If I grab this carry strap, you can see that it starts to pull up. So if it's unstrapped, it just starts to slide out. And I'll show the wear on this side is pretty gnarly. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but I think maybe the carbon is a little rough on the inside. And I'll have to replace these straps pretty soon. But yeah, that's the components of the skate. Carbon shell, the top half of a liner. It's got the receiver plates mounted to a footbed. You've got this wizard plate down at the bottom that you mount your frame to. And then inside you throw in your insole of whatever style you prefer. And then you've got the strap around the outside. That's pretty much how it works, and I do find it interesting. In a different video I talked about how much forward flex these skates have, It's not really something that you can adjust too much, because if you'll notice, the strap doesn't go around the outside of the cuff, it's inside the cuff. And so as you flex forward, the whole liner and strap mechanism move together. I think that's why there's all this friction that can occur against the strap here. And ultimately, you know, you don't really, this doesn't have a lot of tension on it. It's just kind of holding the laces in place. So I do find that kind of interesting. You, when you tighten this up, you do feel it. You do feel some more support. But for me, it just clamps down on my ankle, and it's kind of rough. So that is a breakdown of the Adapt. Super high performance, very precise, very technical. Is it the perfect wizard skate? I personally like a little bit more padding, I think, or the ability to kind of have my foot be able to move within the skate a little bit, just so that I can get into weird positions and do like kind of more eccentric movements. This really reins you in. You have to be pretty much within a band of movement, and when I get outside that band, it does kind of hurt me in some ways. So if I flex too far to the outside, this top ridge I can start to feel. If I point too hard, this back piece here with this nice V cut, I can really feel this back edge. And then the main thing for me is, since wizard skating is all about twisting, when I twist, especially with a longer frame mounted to this, I can feel the leverage of the frame just wrenching against my body. So it's probably, if it fit perfectly, it'd probably be my favorite skate. But I'm still struggling with the fit. And I was planning to not make this video until I was comfortably skating the boot, but I haven't been able to achieve that really. I always end up having to take them off and kind of recover for a little while after skating them. So I love the feeling of doing clean wizard skating in these, but when it's time to like get funky and do some improvisation and or skate around and do a bunch of miles in it, it's a bit of a struggle. So yeah, take that as what you will. I like it for some things, and some things I don't like it for. But yeah, if it's something that you think you'd be interested in, then I would just, you know, make sure you're very clear about how much width you need, how much ankle bone protrusion you have. I guess my ankle bones must stick out a lot. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching. Appreciate you following along with my rollerblade journey. See you later.